Hello record nerds of the internet. It is a new month, which means it's time for a new video of all the records I bought last month. Let's go.
Six in the morning.
Okay, so we will start with this. Ned's Atomic Dustbin, Are You Normal? This is the second album of the band Ned's Atomic Dustbin from England. I was super into this band when I was in high school, when they were new. And this was not my favorite record by them. This is like a matte sort of finish on this. This is number 444 of 1000. It is on blue colored vinyl. And shockingly, this actually has an insert. Normally, in my experience, these music on vinyl reissues usually don't have their inserts, but this one does. Again, this is a limited edition of 1000, so if you like Ned's Atomic Dustbin and you don't have this record, you might want to jump on this before it's gone. From the UK to back to the USA, the Loud Ones, Time to Skate. This is a band comprised of, well, not completely comprised of because he's only one dude. Fred Smith, that guy. He was a pro skateboarder for Elva back in the 80s. Has a printed inner sleeve. Has some explicit sort of stuff on the backside of that. Red vinyl. From skate punk to hip hop, this is the Gift of Gab solo album that came out, I think, just right before he died. This is on black vinyl. I think this has an insert or a printed inner sleeve. Yeah, it has a printed inner sleeve. Oh, no, lied. Insert. I think this is a list of all the people who did his Kickstarter. This was done via a Kickstarter campaign. And if you've heard Blackalicious, you know what this is all about. Because it sounds a lot like Blackalicious, not surprisingly, since Gift of Gab was the MC of Blackalicious. The new album from Dave House, Drive It Like It's Stolen. This is Gatefold. And then I think this is on colored vinyl. On this blue colored vinyl. Interestingly enough, or maybe not interesting at all, but I'm going to tell you anyway, I just had a dream the other night that I was hanging out with Bruce Springsteen and I was trying to explain to him who Dave House was and that he would like them. So I would also tell you, if you've never heard of Dave House, you should check him out because you might like him too. All Pummel. This is a recent reissue on green colored vinyl. This was out of print for a while, and they just reissued it, and that would be Porterhouse. It's a really interesting green colored vinyl. I'm not sure I've ever seen this color. Does this have a, oh, it has a insert. This was a weird album when it came out. This was originally on Interscope Records, and for some reason, all decided to go in a much more dark sort of vein than they had been previously. And there's some real cringy lyrics on here, let's just say. They have not aged well. They weren't cool at the time, and they're even less cool now. Francois, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not French. I've never taken French. This is an album called Free Jazz. This is a limited edition of 300 from our friends at Vinyl Me Please. This is number, 79 of 300. This is actually pretty good. I mean, it's free. Technically, I guess it's free jazz. It's on this color vinyl. But it's not super free jazz. It is fairly moderately free jazz. Then this has an insert as well. Interestingly, it's folded up quite small. Some stuff in French, which...
Écoute mon vieux, tu n'apprendras jamais à parler le français, tu n'as pas ce qu'il faut, tu es un imbécile, ça ne vaut pas la peine de continuer cette conversation.
Slow down.
Écoute mon vieux, tu n'apprendras jamais à...
I don't know why they folded that. That's like an extra step that wasn't necessary because it would have fit in the jacket just fine. So that's weird. If you like jazz, it's slightly avant-garde, but not super avant-garde, check it out. And if you're paying for Vinyl Me Please, you might want to get this. It looks like a punk cover from the 90s. Which is, again, if I see a jazz record that looks moderately punk, I will buy it because I tend to like those. Speaking of punk, the first punk record ever made. This is a reissue that they did, I think in 2016, where this is actually like remastered from analog, done by...
2 very boring minutes later.
The lacquer is cut by Chris Bellman, so this is sort of like an audiophile version of the first Ramones album. Someone turned me on to this pressing. I don't remember who it was. Someone has a YouTube channel. And I had been looking for this since then. Interestingly enough, this has a printed inner sleeve as well, which is usually something that the Rhino reissues don't include for whatever reason. Well, I know the reason, because it would cost them an extra 20 cents. And so the other interesting thing about this is how bad the cover looks compared to even the repress before this. Like, look, the S is cut off. The picture on the front is extremely, extremely blown out looking. It is super high contrast. And if I show you the one, this was a 2008 repress, where the S is not cut off. And you probably can't tell, but this picture has way more detail than this one. Like, look at Joey's jeans here. It actually looks like you can tell finer detail, because this is just completely, they up the contrast for no reason. And it even, on the back, like if you look at this eagle, the eagle here is also less detailed because they've messed with the contrast of the picture for seemingly no reason. So that's kind of annoying. I don't know why they would have gone through the hassle of everything else being better, with the exception of the cover. But as I always say, it's less important to have a good cover and more important to have a good quality pressing. And I haven't actually listened to those back to back, so I don't know which one is better. So I can't tell you how much better the 2016 version is compared to the, I think, again, 2008. And weird enough, the newer pressings post to 2016 is not the same pressing as the 2016 press. So make that make sense. I can't. Speaking of Dave House, this is his covering of Dillinger 4 songs, and then someone else named Patty, some woman I don't know. I'm really just pleading ignorance on this and saying I don't know enough about music. I know Dillinger 4, I don't know the woman that he also covers. And this is on silver vinyl. And, well, that I found somewhat of a grail that I've talked about a couple of times on here. The Lounge Lizards self-titled record. This is the version with the textured sleeve. There's also a version that has a non-textured sleeve. As you can see, someone spilled coffee on this or something. Tried to wipe that off. It does not come off. That being said, the vinyl looks very nice. The Lounge Lizards were a jazz group that were mostly around in the 80s. It was kind of comprised of some jazz dudes and some post-punk guys. Interestingly enough, I was at a record show last week and someone was talking about this. Someone there had a copy without the textured sleeve, and then it had a saw cut, and it was $5 cheaper than that, which I had bought previously. And so I was like, I don't know if that cover is better than this one with that gross stain. That gross stain bothers me, but I don't see this record very often, if ever. And then John Laurie, this guy right here, this the leader of this group, he's got some shows on HBO, one of which is Painting with John Laurie. I tried to watch an episode. I don't know who's enjoying this television. It was brutal. I could not make it through an episode.
I don't know why they gave me my own show, because I'm a mess.
And then finally, last but certainly not least, the Motorhead Ace of Spades box set. This is, I think, out of print. This is 3 LPs. I picked this up at a local shop because I was like, if I ever see this again, I will grab it. And then I found it. And it was a decent price. I think it was $40. And I've yet to open it. This is going to be a shocking statement, perhaps. I've never listened to this album in full. Kind of crazy. But that is what I bought this month. Tell me what you bought in the comments below. Like, subscribe, press all those buttons down there. Just mash them like you're playing Street Fighter.
Round 1, fight! Hadouken!
I'll see you next time. I have a video coming up on me doing a record show. Actually, 2 of them in 6 days. So that'll be interesting, maybe. Maybe not. We'll find out. Have a good day.